Hello and welcome. Can you please introduce yourself to let everyone know who you are?
Hello, Bella's audience. My name is Paul. I have a YouTube channel called The Catholic Gaming Nerd, and some of my hobbies include playing video games, eating pizza, going swimming, and every now and then taking a long walk.
What in your life do you feel grateful for and why?
The thing I feel most grateful for in my life is obviously my Lord and Savior, God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit. I believe in a triune God. I am really thankful for him because, well, for starters, he created me, he created the universe, he created everything, and even things that he didn't create, I'm still thankful that he gave us free will so that we can learn from the past and maybe do something about it next time. And he also showed us through his death on the cross that there can be redemptive suffering. So just because someone is in pain or starving or hungry, that doesn't necessarily mean that there can't be some marriage to it or that person can't learn from it. Just because we don't understand right away why something is happening doesn't mean that it's totally pointless. Just like you might not understand how an architect builds a house, but you're not going to complain once the house is finished. In the same way, God has a plan. We don't always know it, but I trust in him because he has proven very helpful to me. He's even given me a miraculous healing on my back and shoulders. And so, because of how many great things he's done for me so far and countless other examples throughout human history, that is why I am more grateful to him than anything else.
What sort of activities do you enjoy immersing yourself in? What kind of pursuits tend to bring you to life?
The kind of activities I really enjoy are playing video games and sometimes taking walks and going swimming. I believe I already put that in the introduction, so you can edit that out if so. What really what really brings me to life about playing video games is its interactive media, so I feel like my choices matter and I get a chance to sort of figure things out. I really like basically being like a detective. I love figuring things out. I love solving the answer to a riddle. So for example, if I'm playing a video game such as Ace Attorney, where you're a lawyer in the courtroom, I can look through all of the evidence and compare that to the witness testimony and say, oh, there's a contradiction. Let's contradict that. And that's not the only games I like. I also love games like Breath of the Wild, where you get to explore and you get to wander around the environment and really take the game at your own pace. I also love story-driven games. I love RPGs so that I can actually think through, like, okay, I gotta figure out the statistics here, and then after I've seen how the enemy attacks, then I'll plan out my strategy from there.
What are 3 personal qualities that you admire in others?
Qualities that I admire in others, I would have to say the big 3 are loyalty, honesty, and responsibility. Loyalty in this context, because I've heard people ask me what that means, is basically you're the type of person that sticks with, well, not necessarily me, but sticks with someone important to you throughout the thick and thin. Now, I get that there are toxic people out there, but say a person isn't toxic, but life has just bogged you down, and all of a sudden you have to say, forget about someone in your life. That's going to bother me because I like everlasting connections, and if, oh, I'm sorry, Paul, I completely forgot about you, that doesn't feel very loyal. That feels like it's just scatterbrained. Like, did I really not mean that much to you? Honesty is important for me because I don't like fakeness. I don't like people dancing around an issue. If I'm being a jerk, just say it. Like, don't try to sugarcoat the matter. Be like a fast peeling of a bandage, where yes, it's going to hurt, but it hurts less than a slow peeling, trying to avoid hurting my feelings. My feelings are hurt more when people try not to hurt my feelings than just outright saying the answer. Also, I just like people being their raw, authentic selves. Especially in the Myers-Briggs system, I don't like it when people feel like they have to fit into a cognitive function stack. I feel like people should just be themselves. People are going to psychoanalyze you anyway, and they're going to come to their own conclusions about what they think you are, because most people don't tend to believe you when you say you're a certain type. So that's why I don't really say my type anymore on my channel, because I like to just be more of myself and let people choose what they want me to be. The third quality, responsibility, is I like people to make sure that whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing is done. So if a person's supposed to call you back, clean up the house, like, I get that there are off days, but if you're responsible for something that's major and affecting someone, like for example, if a friend of mine is going to hang out with me at 2, and then that person forgets about the hangout, and I've rearranged my schedule to make sure that I can accommodate that person, and it just feels insensitive that the person wouldn't take into account that we made an arrangement and I'm the only one doing the sacrifice. So those are the big 3. I'm sure there are others, but let's just keep it simple for now.
What sort of things worry or stress you out, and what have you learned or what are you learning to worry about less?
The sort of things that worry and stress me out, I don't like it when deadlines are broken. I like to be punctual and on time, and I don't like it when other people break their deadlines. Every now and then I can be a little bit loose if it's not a strict deadline. Like for example, on my days off, I don't have a set time I'm going to wake up. But say if it's like a deadline for work, then I'm going to want to complete that deadline on time, and if I don't, then I'm going to either tell my boss why, or I'm going to work overtime so that I can get it done. I also don't really like being in social situations that involve reading the room. I'm not very good at intuitively grasping how others are feeling unless if they present a very obvious sign that what they're feeling is true. Like for example, if a person is like going like that, then I know that they're angry. But if a person is expecting me to figure out what it is that they're feeling, I'm going to be like, just be honest with me. Please just tell me. Like, I really don't like trying to figure people out on my own. I know earlier I said that I like detective games, but I think on the topic of human emotions, not so much.
Is it generally easy for you to cry?
I don't really cry that much anymore. I used to quite a lot when I was a teenager, but that was mainly because I was very hormonal. And I also had very high anxiety and depression. So prescription medication has definitely helped me to mitigate some of that stuff. Nowadays, I hardly ever cry at all. If I do, I have to really be brought to the breaking point. Generally speaking, what causes me to cry is when a person's loyalty has just failed so much. I guess you could say losing a friend, or a person just vanishing without giving a logical explanation. Like, I don't know, if a person dies, I'm not going to cry as much because death is a natural occurrence. But if a person says, Paul, you're a creep, when I'm not a creep, that's going to make me cry more because that's a deliberate decision to end the friendship that didn't have to do with natural occurrences.
What kind of things make you laugh?
What makes me laugh, sadly, is dad jokes. I am a comedian by nature, and so I generally like to make people laugh quite a lot. I like to just throw out random nonsense phrases to try to get people to chuckle. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they say, oh, Paul, that was just so corny. But I don't really care. I would rather do that than have this deadpan attitude of like trying to take life too seriously. I feel like that would just stress me out more. And so when I need to be cheered up, I like to joke around about just about everything. Sometimes I joke about irreverent subject materials that people would say, oh, that's taboo. You can't make a joke about that, Paul, because you're being insensitive and racist. And I say, if the person understands me enough, then they would be able to take into account the context, and they would also take into account how I've communicated in the past, so they can say, oh, you're not actually racist. You're just making a joke. So I get it. Your sense of humor may be weird, but I get it. That makes sense.
What's your idea of a great way to spend a weekend off? You can do whatever you want and money is no object.
A great way for me to spend a weekend off would be to just relax and do my own thing. Be able to go to the pool, play video games, take a nap. Don't have to feel like I have any sort of responsibilities whatsoever. That basically the only responsibilities I have are like eating, and that's about it. I'm not really the type of guy that really thrives on vacations and exotic things. I prefer to go to those on occasion, but I don't seek them out. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I can't wait until summertime so that I can go spend 3 weeks looking at stuff. No, that's not me. For me, a vacation is just having some time where I don't have to think about work.
What kind of changes would you like to see taking place in the world?
I think what I would like to see in a better world is, well, for starters, more people being honest. I feel like if people didn't lie as much, even if it's a white lie, like saying you're fine when you're not, I feel like that would make a huge difference in society, as then we wouldn't have to keep second guessing everything. I also feel like the world would be a better place if people knew what objective morality was. Like, instead of saying, this is my belief, but this is also this person's belief. Like, if everyone was unified under one belief system, then I feel like that would lead to less misunderstandings and less confusion. Obviously, we could still have our own personalities, but instead of having so many subjective answers, just everyone believed the same thing. And finally, I think the last major change I'd like to see in the world is I'd like respect for human life to be more of a priority. People nowadays seem to think that the human life is so easily discarded. And I wish people would just say, this is a human being, and this human being has their own feelings and wants and needs, and everyone is designed to be given purpose in life. Whether they use that purpose or not is ultimately up to free will. But generally speaking, I feel like people should at least be given a chance to live, and instead of just discarded because, I don't know, they're ugly or an unfortunate pregnancy happened, just give people a chance.
Well, that's the questions all done. Thanks a lot for that. So now, it'd be really good if you could let the viewers know where they could find you and whether you've got any channel or website that you'd like to promote.
So my YouTube channel is called The Catholic Gaming Nerd, and despite the name, I don't only talk about games. I like to consider myself a variety channel first and foremost. I like to do basically whatever I feel like. If it's reviewing games, currently I've reviewed I think 303, give or take. I like to do vlogging. I've only done 2 so far because I kind of got into the trend a bit late, but I do like taking out a camera and talking to my audience about fun things that I do, if I ever do them, because again, I'm not a vacation person very much. I like to do collaborations as much as possible, so collaborating with Bella here was amazing. And I sometimes like to dabble in the realms of psychology. I used to be really into talking about Myers-Briggs, but lately I felt like that limited how authentic I could be. It also could mean that I've been mistyping myself all along. So even though there are Myers-Briggs related videos, nowadays I try to just focus on just presenting the facts about myself and talking about my observations and letting people psychoanalyze me to their own degree, because it's funny how people can view the same thing and yet get different answers from it. So that's fascinating there. So hopefully you like my channel. If not, well, not everyone reads descriptions, so we'll see how many of you actually pay attention to that stuff.
Thanks for sharing that with everyone. Before you go, do you have a goodbye message?
A goodbye message I would like to give to you guys is think. Like, don't just rely on your feelings to give you an answer to life, because feelings don't necessarily correlate with objective reality. Like, you could feel like kicking the vending machine, but all that's going to give you is pain in your toe. So you might not necessarily know the objective truth right away, and that's okay. but use your intellect to try to come to a conclusion. Maybe instead of kicking the vending machine, the more logical solution would be to go to a manager and say, hey, could you unlock the machine door for me? That's a sillier example, but generally speaking, stopping and using your brain works a lot better than just giving in to all of your passions. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comment section if you have any questions and what type you think I actually am. And so I would like to say goodbye.